Hello kids, welcome to today's class. In today's quantitative class, we are going to be looking at exercise 13. In exercise 13, we have three different parts. The part A, the part B, and the part C. Alright, but we are going to begin with the first part, which is part A. Now in part A, we have a table with 2 columns and 4 rows. 2 columns and 4 rows. In the first column, which is on the left side, we have 5, 7, 4, and 3. The column on the right, we have 9, 12, 15, and 21. Well, these numbers on the left hand side matches with the numbers on the right hand side, but not directly. We have to look for it. For example, when we look at 7, 7 does not match 9, 12, 15 in any way. But when you compare to 21, of course, 21 is a multiple of 7, and 7 is a factor of 21. Therefore, when I multiply 7 by an imaginary 3, I will get a 21. So I can say 7 is connected to 21. So using an imaginary 3, I can get the numbers on the right hand side. So same way, 5 multiplied by 3 gives you 15. 4 multiplied by 3 gives you 12. And finally, 3 multiplied by 3 will give you a 9. Right? So, these numbers on the right hand side are obtained by simply multiplying the numbers on the left hand side by an imaginary 3. So, how do I get the numbers on the left hand side? Then we have to do the reverse of that. That is to say, if I multiply the left hand side to get the right hand side by 3, then I have to divide the right hand side by 3 to get the one on the left hand side, because division is the opposite of multiplication. Alright, now for example, if this space was empty, that space of 5, if it was empty, and I needed to find the missing number, all I need to do is to simply match the remaining numbers and see the number that is remaining. For example, 7 goes to 21, 4 goes to 12, and 3 goes to 9. The only number remaining becomes 15. Alright, so once I'm done with that, I have to divide by 3 to get the number on the left hand side. So I simply divide 15 by 3. And once I do that, I'll get a 5. 15 divided by imaginary 3 gives me a 5. So this is what we do to get the numbers on the left hand side of this table. Alright, now let's go to the second part. This is another table, but in another form. Now when we look at this table, it has 2 rows and 3 columns. For the third column is just one row, but the first and second column are 2 rows. So we need to do something with the first and second row to get the number on the third row. Now, what is this thing we are supposed to do? For example, across like this, When we multiply 3 by 4, 3 times 4, 3 times 4, what are we going to get? Well, it's very simple. 3 times 4 is going to give us a 12. Alright? It's going to give us a 12. And when we go across again and try to multiply 5 by 2, 5 times 2, we have 5 times 2, we are going to get a 10. Or 10. Now when you look at these two numbers, when we subtract 10 from 12, the result is 2. The result is what? 2. So that is how these two was gotten. So to get that number, any number on that position, we simply multiply across and then subtract. Now let's look at how we can get other numbers in the first and second column. The first and the second columns. Now to get a number on the second column, for example, to get the 2, if I must get this 2, then the first thing I'm going to do, let's say this position of 2 is empty. This position is empty. So what I must do is to start with this position that is complete. 3 times 4, that gives me a 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Then I remember that I have a 2 here. I have a 2 here, right? This 2 here is subtracted from that 12. In other words, 12 minus 2, we get a 10. Alright? So once we get a 10, what we need to do is to divide the result 10 by 5. So 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2. You see, the answer will be what? 2. So that is the same way we get the 5. But however, if we want to get the number on this other side, for example, the 3. If I want to get the 3, then let's say that position of 3 is empty. The position of 3 is empty. So what I do is to start with the side that is complete. That is the side of the 5 and the 2. So when you say 5 times 2, you are definitely going to get a 10. And when you add this 10 to your 2, you are going to get a 12. So 12 divided by 4, we will get a 3. So this is how we get the numbers on these positions. So these two positions, this is how we get them. Alright? Now we are going to move to the part C. This part C, it looks like a slanted letter N. Slanted letter N. At each part of the N, you can see a number. We have a total of 4 numbers. Now we are going to start with the way of getting 24. How do we get 24? If I'm interested in getting 24, how do I get 24? Well, this is the thing we do. We make use of the 3 numbers 6, 5, and 9 to get 24. So how do we start? We say 6 6 6 times 5, that gives us a 30. 6 times 9, that gives us 54. Now when we subtract 30 from 54, the result is 24. 24. Alright, so when we subtract, we get our 24. Now this is how we get this 24. Then the next thing is, how do we get the second part? How do we get the second part? We are talking about 9. How do we get the 9? Now let's go to the board again. The first thing you do is to remember that the 6 is playing a very important role there. So we have a 6 times, we have a 6 times a 5, and again we get a 30. And we have a 24 at the other side, so this 24 is added. Okay, and what do we get? We get a 54. 54. 54. Now, once we are done getting 54, now what do we do with 54 to get the missing number? We divide 54 by 6, and that is 9. 54 divided by 6, that gives us 9. Alright, this is how we get the 9. Now in the position of 5, how do we get the position of 5? Again, we are going to follow a similar procedure. The first thing we are expected to do is to multiply the 6 by your 9. And what do you get? You get a 54. 54. Alright? Now, this 54, when it is divided by 6, you get a 54. And this 54, you subtract 24 from it, you get a 30. You get 30. When you subtract 24 from 54, you get a 30. 30. Alright? Now, let's go back to, so once you get a 30, your 30 divided by 6. 30 divided by 6, you will get a 5. You will get a 5. A 5. So this is how we get the 5. Alright. One more to go. The 6. The 6. So, how do we get the 6? Once again, I'd like us to go to the board and then see how this is done. To get the 6, we must remember that the 24 plays a vital role, the 9 and the 5. So the first thing we are expected to do is to subtract. Your 5 from your 9. What you get is a 4. Is what? A 4. Now 24 divided by your 4 is going to give you a 6. Alright, this is how we get the 6. Alright, now what we must always do is to practice, because the more you practice, the better you will what? Be. So this second example too is the same thing you will get. So it is very easy, very simple. Alright, I want you all to practice, do your exercises, and then do the quiz that is also attached to this portal. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next class. Bye bye.